Hello and welcome back to the CodCast, the official podcast of Fleetwood Town Football Club. On the first episode of the new series, I think there was only one man we could start off with really. We're joined by head coach Matt Lawlor. Gaffer, thank you very much for your time. I've worked with you for 2 years now and I don't know whether to call you Gaffer, Laws, Boss. How do I address you? Because I spent 2 years calling you Laws and all of a sudden you're the head coach and I don't know what to call you now.
I've gone through a lot of differences in that 2 years, haven't I? I'm not bothered. I've got no ego about that. So whatever you want to refer to me as, that's absolutely fine for me. I've got no bother with stuff like that. But yeah, it's been a mad 2 years, isn't it?
How are you finding it?
Yeah, it's completely different. It's completely different. It's been enjoyable. It's been stressful. It's been eventful, 100%. But yeah, overall, it's an accumulation of a lot of hard work over the years. I never ever thought or wanted this to be my trajectory in a sense that I never knew that it was going to take the path that it has taken. When I spoke to prior managers about it in the past, and they were all at a stage of why not? Why wouldn't you? That was how it started for them. So for me, it's been a really eventful 2 years since I first took my first team game against Tranmere when unfortunately Scott Brown lost his job. So it's been a really eventful. I think it's 2 years. I don't even remember. It's been that long. So yeah, it's been good.
2 years within the first team, God knows how long in every other job. I think you've done every role at this football club under the sun. I think at one stage I expected you to come and contribute to the media department. You've done that many jobs. How long have you been here for now? Because it feels like a lifetime.
Do you know, I actually don't know. I was thinking about this the other day. I actually don't know. I think it's my 10th season this year. I think there's only one member of staff within the coaching departments, like academy first team, that have probably done longer than me and Michael, and he's going on to pastures new now. So I managed to outlive even Mike, who's been here for the longest, and Mike's going obviously over to Newcastle, and an amazing opportunity for him. But yeah, I think I've done every job. But listen, it's prepared me to be good at hopefully what I'm about to do, and good at what that I've been employed to do, and also being able to perform in the roles that I've been given in the past. So no, it's been massively enjoyable. The fact that this club gives opportunities like that is testament to what it wants to be in terms of this academy supported football club, and I'm kind of an embodiment of that, I guess. And within the groups of clubs that the family, the ownership have had in the past, has allowed me to grow at a rate that obviously I thought was probably a bit quicker than I thought in my wildest dreams. But for me, yeah, it's massively prepared me. Well, trying to prepare me for what's about to happen. So yeah, 10 years feels like a long time, but listen, I wouldn't have it any other way. I'm a local boy. I've got like huge passion for the area, huge passion for this football club, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Started at Blackpool, didn't it, in the academy with safeguarding officer Joe Abbott. Where did that all start? How did your love of football sort of begin? I suppose it came from your old man, didn't it? Yeah,
my old man, he played for Chelsea, and then me and my brothers, all like football mad. And obviously started at Blackpool whenever you start at Blackpool, back in the day, so 8, 7 years old, whatever it is, and all the way to when we got to the Championship at Blackpool, when I say we, as in terms of that's what I was part of it at that point, that we got all the way to the Championship, and I was a professional footballer at that point. Never managed to quite make the dream of what I wanted to do and make that my profession for until I was 35, 36 or whatever, but probably dropped out of full-time football at 20, 21. Professional football at Blackpool, but yeah, it all started local. Played for Polton FC, Polton Youth, played for Blackpool for, like I said, from 7, 8 years old and the way until I was 20, 21. So had an amazing football upbringing. But yeah, just a football mad family. Like my older brother was a professional footballer at Blackpool as well. I was. My dad was a professional footballer at Chelsea. So it's within our family. It's something that we've talked about from day dot. Even my little boy Max has played since day dot. I've got videos of him kicking a ball 2 days after he started walking. So yeah, we were all a football mad family. So it started way back when, but I've loved every minute of it.
Your brother went through the academy at Blackpool with you. It's really rare that having two brothers in the same academy. What was that like?
It was strange. It was really strange for my brother. He was obviously the older one, I'm a middle one. So with Sean, my older brother is, I don't even know, 2 or 3 years older. It's mad when you get to an age and you forget. 2 or 3 years older than me. He was brilliant. Sean was a better footballer than me, but probably, I don't know, we were different. I was more, like if you look at the state of my nose, I would run through a brick wall type footballer. But Sean was technically like really good, and he actually played for Fleetwood, very, very briefly. But it was really good to play with my brother. It was strange at certain points because like someone would smash my brother in a game, and I'd be like, right, well, I'm going to smash that fella because he's my brother. So completely out of context for the game, but and he'd do the same for me, even though he probably wasn't quite as good at smashing people. He's better at passing. So yeah, it was really strange but amazing to go through that with my brother. My brother now lives in America. He coaches over in America. So I don't see him as much, but obviously really close. 3 best mates, me and my 2 brothers. So yeah, it was unbelievable memories.
But your footballing career almost had a bit of a knock when you were 14, didn't it? I've heard a story of, was it Universal Studios, the accident that you had? Yeah. Can you explain that? Because I don't think that that's anywhere in the public consciousness. Again, I will preface, the gaffer is very good friends with our safeguarding lead, Joe Abbott, who's a bit of a stalwart in our office, and he's helped me massively with this podcast. So I think you need to elaborate on the Universal Studios story there.
Yeah, so I think I was 13, I can't even remember what age I was. I was doing really well at Blackpool, I was really well thought of, and I went on holiday with my family, Universal Studios. So I went to Universal Studios with my younger brother and my stepsister, and we were on it's not a glamorous ride, the ET ride, and it was really rubbish and really boring, so I thought I'd make it a little bit more interesting. And then all of a sudden, like, my foot got caught in the ride and crushed. I nearly lost my foot, so even though we're laughing, I did nearly lose my foot. So nearly lost my foot, and I was out for about nearly 2 years at that point. So I was in a wheelchair and stuff, and crutches for months. So I'm glad Joe's laughing about it. I was in a bad way, but yeah, it was a very, very big bump on my journey football-wise. So I was probably out for 2 years at that point. But yeah, I got crushed in it, and a gap that big, my whole foot was in it, and it just got crushed. And eventually, 25 minutes later, I got jimmied out of it basically, and ended up the rest of the holiday in hospital. So
great family.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, Joe. Nice one, mate. So yeah, it was a bump in the road, but I managed to get back. It made me more resilient. I've still struggled with my foot even to this day. Like any kind of injury that I would have got in my playing career, it took a little bit longer on that foot than it does the other, or that ankle than the other. So due to the complications, but nah, I've been fine ever since. Yeah, I did 2 foot ET, so that's my claim to fame.
Don't think that there's ever going to be anyone on this podcast who's going to say that they're 2-footed ET. That's unbelievable sound like that. So you went on from Blackpool when you came through the academy, no doubt that was a bit of a knock, and you started your career at Brig, was it?
No, at FC Fylde. So I was at FC Fylde for about 4 or 5 years. So when I dropped out of full-time football, I actually went to Farsley Celtic on loan. So I was in the National League for a couple of years. So with them and the team called Lawlor that are now bust, I think, actually. And actually Farsley.
Lee Miners Rangers.
Yeah, Lee Miners, yeah. So they, Lawlor. So I played for them for 2 years in the National League. So I was still full-time in effect there. And then dropped out and I thought, well, what's next, kind of thing. Like, hopefully, some of these people that are within our academy, some of them will definitely, obviously, go through what I went through, maybe at an earlier stage. And after Scholar, I was lucky enough to get a 3-year professional contract at Blackpool. And then after that, I was kind of lost and I went into non-league. Went to Fylde for 4 or 5 years, or 4 years probably, and ended up doing really well there. And then I had a decision to make when Fylde was coming to an end, a natural end, that they were kicking right on and I was kind of petering out, if you will. Thought, what do I want to do? I'm going to carry on playing because I love football. So then I joined Bamber Bridge from AFC Fylde and then spent like 9 years there whilst coaching away, and then eventually becoming full-time coaching. It kind of derailed my playing because of the amount of commitment of working and playing and then coaching as well. So I kind of had to make a decision whether what I concentrate on. And obviously coaching was always going to win because that was hopefully going to be my future employment. So yeah, I probably started coaching within that at 24, 25 when football didn't quite work out for me, while still maintaining playing at a good level at National League North. So yeah, it was completely alien to me, because all I ever wanted to be a footballer. If you would have told me when I was a kid, like, what do you want to be, I would have told you footballer. I would have said that I'm going to be England captain. I had this like mental belief in myself that I was, which is a bit mad, but that's best. I guess that's what got me so far. But then my lack of ability might have what kept me behind. So yeah, it wasn't what I set out to be. I wanted to be, like I said, a Premier League footballer from day dot, and didn't quite obviously get to that. But it's obviously it's worked out for all the best anyway.
It's mad when you go to Brig. I've been there 3 times the last 3 seasons of pre-season. And you bump into people and you're like a cult hero over there. The amount of people who just go, oh my God, Matt Lawlor, and you're like, it's just Laws from the academy office. And it's still mental now that you've not changed from the minute that I first met you as a colleague right the way through to now as a first team head coach. You've never really changed. You've always been that sort of character around the office, and I suppose that initial dream and that sort of ambition to be a coach from when you realise sort of playing's not for me, that's probably a massive clue as to why you're in this position now.
Yeah, I don't understand why people would change. I think I've been brought up quite well, and that's credit to my mum and my dad and my stepdad and my family. But why would you lose them beliefs that are going to drive you? Like, listen, anyone in life that's watching this or listening to this or part of this, that any time that you do well in life or get like promoted in a job, and obviously, like I said, I've been here 10 years, and over the course of my career, it's not your experience that gets you promoted, it's you that gets you promoted. I genuinely believe that everyone's super strength is at them. So for me, a big part of my character is being me, authentic and passionate. Like, I just am me. I'm passionate as anything about the role that I'm in or what I want to go and do, because if I'm not passionate, I don't believe that I'm half the performer that I should be. So when I played football, unbelievable, when, like you said, at Bamber Bridge or at Fylde or even at Blackpool, like with my old coaches, I was talking to one of my old coaches, Steve Thompson, who's currently within the first team setup again at Blackpool. Even Keith, like Keith Southern's become our 21s. I was a young man playing with Keith when Keith was an amazing, like, he was a first team footballer. Like, I used to get called Chopper, I used to get called like the Wall, and like, I was passionate about everything that I did, and I was fully committed to everything that I do. So yeah, I think a big driver of me is my core values of what I've been stemmed with from life, football, work, playing, everything that combines to make me. So I don't believe I should change just because I'm now the head coach or manager or whatever. I believe that I'm in this position because of what I've done prior. So even when I went into Waterford or into, I don't know, an under-12 session at Academy, it was the same approach today. Listen, the intensity goes right up, obviously, because it's first team league professional football. But my approach has always been the same, and I believe that people have success. We'll talk about Yatesy and Pondy, I guess, as part of my big parts of my journey. The reason that they're successful is because of them too, their ability, but they're also them as people. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to change if I ever changed. I think I know my dad would be on the phone and he'd batter me. So, if I do ever step out of line, you've got full permission to tell me, Rob, that you're being a bit of a tool there. But I don't understand. Everyone's got an ego, but there's a difference between having an ego and confidence and being egotistical. So I've got a belief in what I do. I've got a belief in what we do, but I don't go around telling everyone how good I am or whatever, because I might not be very good, like, to some people. But yeah, I just think that from passion, and different people display different characteristics. Mine's, I think, pure passion. So I believe that stems everything that I do, because I've got a passion for Fleetwood, I've got a passion for my job, I've got a passion for football, I've got a passion for my family. I'd do anything for my family, for example. So yeah, I believe being a good person pays dividends in the end, but that won't stop me from hopefully being successful in what I attempt to do in life.
And that drive was no doubt instilled in you in a young age. Did you have any influential coaches back in the day at Blackpool who've sort of shaped you to where you are now? Yeah,
I think you'd be really close-minded if you didn't take something off everyone that you've ever encompassed, really. So big characters for me: Dave Fogg, Colin Hendry. Colin Hendry was massive for me. He won't really realise this, maybe watching this, or maybe on looking over the years after where I've not got to or have got to in my career. But for me, I think Colin Hendry was like a big influence on me because of position-wise and also person-wise. He's Braveheart to Scotland. You know what I mean? He was captain of a Premier League winning team. He was just a leader. So he was massive for me. Coaches over the years, and Steve Thompson, a guy who I'm going to talk about. I'll talk about him to the day the cows come in. Like he was massive for me. I was under 16s, under 15s with Steve Thompson, and then he became my youth team manager. Then he became my reserve team manager, and then became my first team coach when I was there. So we kind of mirrored our whole career, his early coaching career and my early playing career together, and he was massively influential on me. But they all taught me, but obviously my family had the biggest influence, like my mum, my dad, my stepdad, my brothers, like my upbringing, like it's huge, like my grandparents and everything. They're the biggest cultural influences I've had, and then my football influence. And obviously my dad and my brother were massive in my football influence as well. So yeah, I've had a huge amount of influence over, had influence over with Dave Fogg, Colin Hendry, Steve Thompson, to name a few. Colin Greenall as well, forgot about Colin. Colin was unbelievable for me. We only spent a year together really, but the year that he taught me about values and the way that you treat people, and I even see him now on the school playground, because obviously we're both local in terms of, I'm from the Fylde Coast area, and his grandson and my son his granddaughter, and my son go to the same school. So I see him on the playground and still catch up with him now, and it's like we've never been away from each other for 20 years. So no, really big influences on it all, and obviously latter influences from my playing career to my coaching career. There's been loads on my coaching career as well.
You're a proper Fylde Coast lad, aren't you? When you speak, you realise just how embedded you are in this sort of area. I remember one of your first press conferences, you really emphasised what this town means, what this club means to the town and vice versa. When you go around Fleetwood, it's the centre of everything, isn't it? And no doubt that was the same with Brig. It was certainly the same with Fylde, with Kirkham and Wesham and everything that David did over there, and everything that the Pillies did here. That's no doubt sort of knowledge that's invaluable for you, and knowing this area and just knowing what football means to the people of the Fylde Coast.
Oh well, yeah, definitely. I think we're quite blessed around this area to have obviously a big club in Blackpool and a big club in Fleetwood, but the town itself, like I've spent a lot more time over the last 10 years in the town itself. Like my little lad goes boxing at the Fleetwood boxing gym, for example, and he plays for Fylde Coast Soccer, which is a Fleetwood-based football team, and my brother-in-law was captain at Fleetwood Rugby Club, and all that. Like we've got a lot of roots in this area. Like, listen, I'm one of very few that are in these areas, in the Fylde Coast area, that I listen. Like everyone's got, like my dad's London, but my Scottish London random mongrel mix. My mum was born elsewhere, but I was born in the town of Blackpool. Grew up in the Fylde Coast area, and while I might not be Fleetwood, but I've been at this club for 10 years, and I've got a huge affinity for this. And I've seen what the ownership and the Pillies, the family, have built. Like the last 20 years, it's been unbelievable. Like the club wouldn't be where it is without their investment. It wasn't where it was now, obviously prior, with Fleetwood Freeport and all the different names it's had and clubs and versions it's had. But this town and this team now is probably one of the two smallest, I think, ever to play in the EFL. In terms of us and Forest Green, I think, in terms of population. So it can be massively proud about what it is and what it has been and what it's going to be. And this club is like a massive reputational benefit to the whole town. So, yeah, listen, I've got a huge passion, I'm going to say again, and people will be bored of me saying it, for the area. I'm from this area. I love this area. I live in this area. My boy was born in this area, as my wife was. My family were. So, yeah, we've got ties here, and I'll probably never move, regardless of my career. I'll always have a base here. I don't think I'll ever move because I love this area and it's where my family are.
And can't bypass that without asking the $1 million question. Have you brought Max up as a Fleetwood fan?
Max is a Fleetwood fan, a Man United fan. My dad's Chelsea, obviously, so he's not Chelsea, he's refused Chelsea. But yeah, he randomly, just when we're out and about, just chants about Fleetwood. So Max is 7.5 now. He absolutely loves it. Loves it. Plays for our current under-8s. Comes to every single game. Majority of away games where he can, but every single home game, and absolutely loves it. He thinks that the footballers, our first teamers, are like superstars to him. The fact that he said hello to Sean, he loves Sean Rooney. He loves Ched Evans. Like, I told him that Ethan Ennis had signed for Stockport yesterday. He was gutted. But like, he was like, why is he not coming back to Fleetwood? I was like, doesn't understand the complications of finances and people and like leagues and all that kind of stuff. He has no idea. He's just got the purity of, well, why is he not coming to Fleetwood? Why doesn't he want to come to Fleetwood? So yeah, he will be a Fleetwood fan. He'll be a Fleetwood fan forevermore. As well as Man United. He's randomly picked up Man United. That's probably from my brother. But yeah, he's definitely a cod.
It's so weird when you talk about the club and the size of sort of the players and what you think about, because I remember our first game when we had the old cabin on the one side of the goal and Nathan Pond was our star man, and we used to play with the likes of Corby and Vauxhall Motors, and didn't seem like 5 minutes ago we were going to Sunderland and the Stadium of Light and sort of stuff like that. You've been here 10 years now. How's that evolution of the club? I mean, I know that the last 10 years have been an unbelievable success for this football club, and the 10 years prior to that with the 6 promotions in 10, the record that no one will get anywhere near now. But have you seen the club grow in the last decade, but maybe in a sort of different way to the decade previously? I mean, it's so well populated now and documented that we are going to a more sustainable model as a football club, because you can't rely on ownership pumping in money to the club every single season. But for the 10 years we did it, we had one hell of a ride. Oh,
unbelievable ride. And by the way, they're still pumping mental amounts of money into it, like huge amounts of money. But rather than it just being on the team, they've built what's around us in Poolfoot, and they've built the ground, like you were just saying, it was a cabin. Before the Pillies got hold of it, it was a cabin, and it was a really nigh on derelict stand behind the goal that had weeds going out of the concrete. It did, like in the terraces, to what it is today. And by the way, they're still investing fortunes in it. But now, rather than it just being solely on a team, it's on a club. So the club itself is investing fortunes into the club, into the facilities, into the academy, into the structure, into the staffing. Like, I'm here every day. I was in on Sunday, for example, with my little lad, and I looked around, and the amount of staff that are in the academy or in the bar or in the place that keeps us all going and like obviously makes money for us. The investment has just changed from team. Probably the last evolution, I'd guess, it's gone from team to club. The investment's the same, but rather than it just going all on the pitch with no sustainability, it's now gone to club to try and help create a model of sustainability, which, let's have it right, is the best way to go, because we can't just rely on a family to invest the whole amounts of money that they do on a team without no return. So to make it more sustainable, they're investing the same amount of money and an amazing amount of money, but it's team, it's become club. So I'd say the biggest evolution, especially in the last 4 years, has been rather than team into club, because the money's still exactly the same. I guess the investment, without speaking ill, without the knowledge, that the investment is huge. It's just club-wide rather than team-wide now. So, yeah, I've seen lots of different variations over 20 years ago. Like, I can remember my mate John Watt playing, and Lenny Reid playing, Nathan Pond playing, Jamie Milligan playing. I can remember all them, and then the evolution of when we started getting to the National League, and then Jamie Vardy coming around, Jamie Maguire, Andy Mangan. Like, Andy Manningham's one of my really good mates. I love Mangs, I love Mangs, he's amazing. One of the best humans I've ever met. Grew up with him at Blackpool. And that his evolution, and then we got into League Two, the next batch come through, and then League One, and then like under the Joey Barton era, Scott Brown era, Charlie Adam. I've seen it all and felt it all, and obviously the last 10 years is probably the biggest. It's gone in, rather than team-wide investment, it's gone to a club-wide, and the investment is a £10 million training ground, and it's not just 10 million quid, that it's constant investment to keep these facilities going. Like the pitches are unbelievable that we trained on this morning, adding £1 million dome. The investment of going category 3 to category 2. So yeah, an amazing amount of investment. I'd probably say that's the latest evolution, but it's an amazing evolution that we can be part of, and it's opened up opportunities for players, staff, myself, alike. So no, it's still an amazing amount of investment that goes into this football club, but it's, like you said, trying to become this model of sustainability rather than just responsibility on one family.
I pinch myself when I'm driving to work every morning and I realise this is ours. Because growing up, Fleetwood to me, we used to be the Highbury stand, and then the tunnel in the old stand, and the dressing rooms in there, and now I get to come to this place every day.
Yeah.
Do you still sort of take a step back every now and then and just think, Fleetwood Town Football Club has this as their training ground. It's mad, isn't it?
So when they first started going towards a full-time model, it was Collins Park, wasn't it? It was Collins Park that's obviously Squires Gateway, and it's one pitch, one little club, well, nearly nigh on derelict clubhouse that they had. So that was the first version. Then they went to Fylde Rugby Club, which is a rugby club. It's not a football club, it's a rugby club. So the facilities were amazing for a rugby club, but not necessarily for a football club, because the grass doesn't have to be great. And my brother-in-law loves rugby, plays rugby. And I'm not scared about saying this, that the football side of it doesn't have to be... the football pitch has to be a pitch rather than just a field that rugby players can play on. So for me, it's been a huge amount of investment over the years, and I do pinch myself that we've got this. We're in League Two, let's have it right, we're in League Two and we've got this. So when I'm speaking to players in the summer, this is a huge selling point. When we're talking about, to academy players, about wanting to sign here over the million offers that they've got out there, this is what your workplace will be every day. Listen, we have to remind the players and ourselves that this is not the norm as it goes. Like, this is, even in League One, this is not the norm. Like, at Blackpool's training ground, it doesn't touch this, like, at all. And that's not at Blackpool, but I'm just giving a local example. You could go up and down the country, League One teams that won't have anywhere near what we have access to become better footballers and better people, and more ready for a Saturday. So yeah, you have to pinch yourself and you have to remind yourself that it's not the normal list. It's not normal. Even sat in this here, like, it's changed from last year. Like, there's constant investment that goes into the place. So it is pinch me moments, yeah.
You'll no doubt know from the last half an hour of the podcast, you're an unbelievable storyteller. And I think my missus has many nights kicked off at me as to why I've come home late, because you'll be sat in the office and reeling off a story. Where does that come from, or is that just second nature to you?
Yeah, just second nature, I think. Just the way that you grow up. I was growing up with two brothers in a household, just a mental household, trying to fight each other, trying to get a bit of attention, I guess. So it's always been quite natural to me to speak in front of people and connect with people. So I've always enjoyed telling stories. And but again, it probably comes from a place of, like, I'm just invested. So if I'm telling a story, I'm invested. If I'm coaching, I'm invested. If I'm playing, I'm invested. So yeah, it's one of my one of my very few talents that I've got, I'd say.
I'd say as head coach of a professional football club, you've got more than just a few talents, but I'd say that's probably one that's not out there in the public domain. We'll talk more about the here and now, because we've had you on the pod before and there was some brilliant stories there, but it is all about the now. We're sat in a classroom which has got high energy character and desire plastered all over the walls. It's plastered all over the players' literature that they get every week. It's sort of supposedly become our sort of internal motto of the football club over the last 6 months since you've took over. What does that mean to you? What does that mean to the players? And what does that mean to the football club in general?
Yeah, well, it's something that I came up with about 5 or 6 years ago within the academy set up. I tried to think about what Fleetwood Town is and should be, and what our players should represent, and what players that we're trying to create in terms of academy. And obviously now I've taken it to the first team. For me, it means high energy. That doesn't mean my energy comes through as passion, whereas Sean Rooney's is like crazy. Ched's is intense. Mark Yates' is enthusiasm. But it's their energy. It's a positive energy. But when you're on the football pitch, I want to play high energy football. So it's all on and off the pitch stuff. Character's a big one for me in terms of being a good character, a stable character, regardless of the situation that's happening. So on the pitch, off the pitch, being a good character is huge, because you've got to show a lot of character. And our town of Fleetwood is full of character. I was talking about the boxing club before. Even look at the building that's in it. It's a building that's full of character that's now a boxing gym. As in, they've done an amazing job with that, for example. So for me, it's a huge thing, having character, that football tests you at every single turning point, at every single minute of every single game. Your character's being tested because there's a man up against you trying to outdo you. So your character, so there's high and lows, and it's showing good character the whole time, and being a stable and good character, and then desire. I've said this a million times to our players. You've got to have a desire, to be the best version of you every day, to win every moment of every day. A desire to be a footballer, and then whilst you're here, a desire to play for Fleetwood Town. I don't care that your ambition when you're a kid might not have been to play for Fleetwood Town. You want to play for England and be captain of England. That's what I did before, but for the length of your contract here, and whilst you're here, before we shake your hand and we move on, you either go on to pastures new and you kick on to your amazing career that you're about to have, or we shake your hand and you're not a part of this building anymore, that you show a huge desire to be at Fleetwood Town. So it's three things that when I spoke to a million people when coming up with it, that we believe that the town reflected, the team should reflect, the ownership massively reflected it, and our players then had to become that to be able to get in. So if you look at all the players that have come within, probably like Conor Horty, at different times you're building character, you're revealing character. His has been tested and he's come through that. He shows an energy, he's got a confidence energy, which is an amazing thing to have, and then he's got a desire to be the best footballer he can be. So from a football family, and then I could go on a million different people, but that's what we kind of stand for. And if you've got a kind of philosophy or a mission, if that's what it wants to be, I think everyone can sing off the same hymn sheet. So now from our under sevens all the way through to our first team, we've got the same motto.
That's no doubt important for the group as well, because you went and spent a fair bit of time over in Waterford. No doubt there could be another podcast. You did one with the guys over at Waterford. There could be another one for the stories are there. I think the main one that comes up to me, and I don't know whether this is true, you can confirm or deny, have you named your dog after the former Waterford manager that you spent almost a year working alongside?
Well, listen, it's not me, I haven't named him. So my dog's called Keith, randomly. So shouting that on a field is very embarrassing, and very tricky, because a load of middle-aged men will turn around and think you're shouting at them. But yeah, so when I first went over to Waterford, the manager was called Keith Long, and a man that I can't tell you the amount of respect I've got for and learnt so much off and still speak to. I spoke to him yesterday, for example. But my little lad adored him, so Max adored him. So that was, 2-3 years ago now. So Max was 4, 5. So our other dog had passed away, and I was living over in Ireland away from my family, which was a massive wrench at the heart for me. So when I got on FaceTime to him, he was crying. He was like, "Why is Alfie, our doggy, gone?" I said, "Well, he's 17, mate. It was time for him to go." And trying to explain that to a 4-year-old is tough. And he said, "I want another doggy." And I thought, well, I'm not coming back until next season, so I've probably got a little bit of time for him to forget this, because I didn't really want a dog at that point. So I said, yeah, we'll get a dog, don't worry. When I get back, we'll get a dog. He said, right, I'm going to call it Keith. And I was thinking, it's a bit dodgy. I said, yeah, whatever, mate, yeah, that's fine. So then he went on every phone call from there, and every time I saw him, I can't wait to get Keith. And I'm thinking, well, he's definitely, it's going to be 6 months away of getting this dog now, so he's going to forget. 5 months, I hadn't forgot 4 months, and then I thought, can't call him Keith. Day we picked him up, he was like, Keith! So I was like, gee. So now if you see me walking the streets shouting Keith, it's not at just a random old fella, it's at my dog. So yeah, it's highly embarrassing, but that shows my again a passion, a loyalty, and everything that I'm about, that I've met a man, and so has my little boy. Massive respect to him. We named a dog after him. So if Keith, if you're watching, you probably won't be, but if you're watching, he does know. He does know.
We'll clip this up and send it to him.
He does know.
Waterford's played a huge role, not just in your career, but in this football club, in what we are today. Without spending 3 hours talking about Waterford, because there's no doubt a podcast that the guys over there have done. It was really good. What does that place mean to you, first of all, as a city, and secondly, as a football club? Yeah,
as a city, without passion, I'm nothing, yeah? So when I've not got passion, so I had to kind of immerse myself. I'm a local lad, so I know this area, but it's the most alien place to me. I'd never heard of Waterford. I'd never spoken about Waterford or heard about the football team until it came up, and then I just randomly ended up over there, obviously with the ownership, and I had to take it to heart. I lived there for 8 months on my own, away from my little boy and my wife, which is obviously a massive sacrifice for them more and me. So I had to take it to heart. So to me, to become immersed in it, yeah, I absolutely love that place. I had to make it my hometown. So regardless where I go in my career, I have to make things I have to feel things and be passionate about things. Otherwise, it won't do. So the city of Waterford, if you've never been, it's a beautiful, amazing place. Me and you have been there together. So it's a beautiful, amazing place that did loads for me personally, and then also obviously professionally did even more for me. because I learnt loads. And so yeah, as a football club, as a town, as city, sorry, nothing like. And I love every Friday night. I watch them every Friday night. Mainly because I've got a love for the place, but also that we've got players. We had Will Johnson there, we've got Noah Mueni at the minute, we've got Stevie McMullen over there. We've had players that have come and gone, like Sam Glenfield, Tommy Lonergan, etc. So, yeah, it's been a massive part of my journey here, and without it, I don't think I'd be in the position that I'm in today. Like, well, I don't doubt it. I 100% know that I wouldn't be. So, nothing but love and thanks to that place, and also for the opportunity from the ownership here to allow me to go over there and show what I'm about.
It's very much the Fleetwood of Ireland. It's everyone loves the club. That is the hub of everything. And I suppose that transition from working within the first team at Waterford and then coming back over here and having such a sort of an overnight impact to get in with the first team at Fleetwood. Now that transition was a lot easier than if you'd have gone from the 21s straight through to the first team. Yeah,
massively for me. To go and experience it and feel it, and first team football over there, and I didn't know if I was ready for it. I don't know. I didn't have a clue because I'd never done it as a coach. So for me, 100% going over there made a massive, massive, massive difference, because without it, I don't think I would have ever doing what I'm doing now. So with that in mind, like, I've got to be able, like, owe them thanks, a lot of thanks at what I've done. But yeah, it prepared me massively, because without that jump, it's a massive jump. So when I came back here, Adam was in charge, and then I quickly transitioned from coming back into his first team staff, and then stayed on with Pete. And yeah, so without that, and obviously I've gone back twice since that first time as interim manager. So yeah, for me, it was without that. I don't think we're not having this chat today as head coach. I think I'd still be within the club. Don't get me wrong, or I might not be, but I don't think I'd be a head coach anyway without that experience and that bridge. Because that's what it can be as well. It can be a huge bridge for both sides. It can be a bridge from them getting across from Ireland into our first team, which Ronan Coughlin has, Junior Katurna, Phoenix Patterson, like, unbelievably successfully. And then obviously the boys that are within our 21s at the moment. But then also a bridge the other way, like Sam Glenfield going creating a career out there, Tommy Lonergan, but he's absolutely smashing it over there. And our loans that we've had over there over the years, like Barry Bagley, unbelievable success. So yeah, for me, it's been an amazing part of my journey, an amazing part of this football club's journey. So yeah, I've got nothing but love and admiration for that place, and without it, I don't think I'm sat here today as head coach.
Before we talk about the here and now, there's one game that I want to highlight. Your last spell at Waterford. We were playing MK Dons the following day away from home, 12:30 kickoff, and I can remember. For anyone who doesn't know, you went into Waterford at the back end of last season, when the team were in a relegation battle, and they had a relegation playoff match against Bray Wanderers, and there was about 12 of us in this hotel, which was in the stadium at MK Dons. We were all crowding around the TV, and I think it's probably the most I've celebrated a goal since Anthony Sarsevic's free kick at Wembley, and then the outpouring of emotion from you and Yatesy at the end there. The fist bumps were born, the mad celebrations, and every time we win on social media, you have all Waterford fans coming over and showing their plaudits. That was, I mean, we could probably do another podcast about that. What was that sort of scenario like? Because we have nothing like it in England, where the whole season, instead of it being on a one-game shootout for promotion, it was on a one-game shootout to drop out of the League of Ireland, where for the last 3 or 4 years, the whole club has built up to go from probably a mid-table championship or second-tier side to a very well-run, established League of Ireland side. So there was no pressure on you that night, was there?
That outpour of emotion was just relief, I think, because my Lord, when I went over there, I was over for 6 weeks. Towards the back end, and I think they were bottom at the time, I can't even remember, but bottom, they were struggling, hadn't won in 7 or 8, and unfortunately John Coleman had lost his job, so the club had asked me to go over, and it was obviously a big decision yet again to go over, because I didn't want to see that club get relegated. But like you said, that last day is so pressurised. It's one game to save yourself, and it was the worst conditions on the worst pitch. So it was a bit of a throwback of football.
I think you'd have rather played on Kingies over at Fleetwood than on that pitch.
So Kings is a better pitch.
Yeah.
1,000,000% it was a better pitch. So I saw people playing on there the other day, and it looked lovely compared to that mud heap over there. So it was just an outpour of emotion at the end. We managed to win, and we won 2-1, but we were really good in the game and managed to save them and maintain the Premier League status that they've got today because of that. And listen, like Graham is flying over there, they are unbelievable. Like he has done an unbelievable job. So listen, amazing credit goes to that man, because he has drove them from tough times this season to where they are today. But last year was, me and Yatesy went over. I would have went over, and we managed to steer the ship back to where it was, and it was just an outpour of emotion at the end. Like, you'll notice that Yatesy's only celebrating with his left hand, right? It's because he punched the floodlight, because he was that angry and that, like, in the middle of the game about some decision. He punched the floodlight, obviously came off worse, broke his hand. So he's celebrating with his left hand and his right hand's tucked away, because he actually came back and got a cast on 2 days later. So literally poured blood, sweat and tears into that. But yeah, it was an outpour of emotion, because the pressure for that 6 weeks was immense. And like I said, because I'm passionate and immersed myself in it, I didn't come home for 6 weeks, which is massive for me, as I said. But it was, even though it was a tough game in terms of, like, it was a relegation survival game, it was a highlight for me personally that we managed to re-steer the ship and have some good results to even manage to get into that relegation game, which was good.
You're back home now, which no doubt for Becky and Max is a real relief, not having you go over to Waterford every 6 weeks, every now and then. Do you feel more comfortable managing a team back home, or is it, when you walk into the office, is it just full focus mode? Yeah,
it's just full focus. Like, it doesn't matter where I'd be. It was Waterford, and it was the same here. Like, it doesn't matter if I've got a Fleetwood badge or a Real Madrid badge on. Like, I want to operate at, I always say to our staff that the controllable bits, I want to be world class. Listen, Real Madrid have a lot more this, that and the other than us, but I still want to operate at the same level. It doesn't matter to me. Like, there's no excuses. Uncontrollable moments of planning, organisation, communication, and the controllable stuff. We're never going to reach world class levels all the time, but as long as we operate at them levels as much as we can. So it's full focus. Doesn't matter whether it's local, as long as I'm passionate about it. And like I said, and like I'm in control of some moments that are operating at a world class level. Like, it'll always be full focus for me. I won't ever deviate from that, because I need this to go well. I want this to go well. I've got a desperate passion to make sure that we're going to go and hopefully do something this year.
So far, so good. 2 games, 2 1-0 wins against promotion favourites Chesterfield. You've got a relatively good record since you've taken over. Even in the 2 spells as caretaker manager, you had a good record. I'm not going to jinx it yet, because it's very early in the season, but at the time of recording, we're heading into the Gillingham game at the weekend. We've won 2 games, we've kept 2 clean sheets, we've scored 2 goals. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate that start?
Yeah, I'm really pleased. I don't know where it lands on the scale, but I'm so pleased with the start. It's, like I said, it is a start for me that we would have loved 2 wins, 2 clean sheets, and looking well drilled and well coached, and the boys are playing good football. So for me, again, by the way, against Chesterfield, who are top, like, really good footballers, some of the best footballers in the league, like Dylan Markandy is. I'd love him to be here. Like, he was a top footballer. So, yeah, coached by obviously an amazingly experienced coach in Paul Cook, who's had an amazing career. So, for me to go up against someone like that, and it's never about me or Paul Cook, it's about Fleetwood against Chesterfield. But even for me and where I've come from compared to what Paul Cook's come from, like, it's mental, really. So, yeah, as a starting block, I'm really pleased. We have got a lot of injuries at the moment that obviously detract. Like, Man City struggled without Rodri. You know what I mean? One player 2 years ago. Obviously got him back last year and had a much better season. So it tells you the injuries we've got. We've got quite a few key injuries at the moment. So yeah, I would like it that we get back. When we get them back, I'll be a lot more happy. But as a starting block, I'm really pleased about what it looked like. But this is at time of recording. It might be if you spoke to me on Monday and we don't get a positive result, then could be a different answer. But listen, a really positive start. We've got points on the board to start. We've got a first away win at the start, so a few boxes ticked straight away.
I don't think I'd ever sat in a press box more nervous for an opening day game of the season. There was hardly any fingernails left. I remember going down and seeing you after the match of press, and I went, we can't do that for another 10 months.
No.
But I think it shows where we are right now. It was a really positive pre-season. There was good energy around the place. It was all based here, so for the first time in a while we didn't go away, we didn't have a camp. It was all about minutes in the legs, getting work, and you could really see that from the first 2 games. There's been so many conversations of people no doubt asking you what's it like to play the same team twice in 2 weeks. It felt like, it was the same scoreline, but it felt like a very, very different game. The one last week at Highbury and the one at the weekend against Chesterfield. You now look ahead to Gillingham, a completely different test with a side who usually come out of the blocks firing at the start of the season. Yeah. But we're back at home, somewhere that has become a fortress over the last few years. You spoke about it at the back end of last year. And it's also good that we've come off the back of 2 1-0 wins after something that I know you were really frustrated with last year, was taking the lead and then dropping points. We've managed to see 2 games out now. That's no doubt a massive confidence boost for the squad. And that is probably a reference point for if that does happen again, that this is, if you put that high energy, that character and that desire into those last 15, 20 minutes when they may have fresh players on, we may be bringing, I think you said it in the Hartlepool game, we were bringing, even Bolton, we're bringing Noah Sawkins from Fatifa and David off from the bench, and they've got really good players of a high quality. That is the reference point, at least from me as a supporter, to be able to go that if that happens again, we have got that to fall back on. So looking ahead to, let's just say Gillingham for a start, what do you expect that to be? How are you looking for that to plan out? And ultimately, how big of an asset are the Fleetwood fans going to be this season? Because on Saturday, they were outstanding at Chesterfield.
Oh, they were unbelievable. Raf Sereno's songs were stuck in my head all week. So, yeah, they were unbelievable. I couldn't believe, I just heard them. How many fans there were at Chesterfield?
140 we took.
140 that we took, and then I don't know how many they had, but I guess it was 7,000.
It was 8,000 they sent, so
yeah. So they took 8,000, and I could hear us the whole game. You don't understand how much energy you can provide to players when you're with each other, and there's a togetherness. In your good moments, football fans that have seen a good moment here at Fleetwood will understand that they're kind of the relationship on and off the pitch. I believe that the campaign that they started at the start of, in the summer, Be More Fleetwood, should lead to that into the stands as well. Be More Fleetwood, be more, get us going, because it's chicken and the egg stuff, isn't it? Who starts? Do the players get the fans going, or the fans get the players going? At times it's going to be players getting fans going. At times it needs to be fans getting players going. It's not always going to be perfect. It's far from it. Football's never is. There's another team that are coming to stop us, and there's another team that are coming to match up against us and see what we're good at and try and make us not as good at that in the day, or see what we're not so good at and try and exploit that as we are for the opposition. So yeah, it's going to be huge. We want to make Highbury a fortress. We want to be really, really good at home. So yeah, Gillingham is Gillingham. They've got an amazingly experienced manager again, in Gareth Ainsworth, who's had an amazing career. They've got a much bigger squad than us in terms of experience and know-how. They got beat 3-0 at the weekend, but I've just watched it before I came here. They hit the bar 3 times themselves. So, and they scored, and then the 80th, 89th and 90th minute, or 96th minute, it makes it 3-0. So the performance is different than the perception. And this is what I was saying last year, that some of our performances last year that didn't translate into results, like you were saying, makes a perception. And now I want to make performances into points, and some of them might not be pretty performances. You've got to remember that in the middle of November, it's going to be smashing down, the wind's blowing sideways at Highbury, but we know that's going to happen, so we can make that a little bit in our favour. And it's not always going to be pretty over a 46 game league season and then cup games, and it's a 50 odd game season for us, and we've got a much smaller squad this year. Backed up by young lads, like you were saying about, so our young lads that are in our first team in a minute, and then the ones that are sitting in the 21s currently, and even the ones in the 18s that need to leapfrog them 21s to get into our first team. So yeah, it's hopefully going to be a good season. Gillingham, listen, every game will take it each as its own. Gillingham Saturday, we'll prepare the life out of it for Saturday, hopefully aiming for a good result. If not, it's one game, we move on to the next one, and we want to have more good games than bad games. And we want to get to where we need to get to in the league this year and perform as best as we can, because I believe in this group, I believe in what we're doing, I believe in what we can provide for the players and the players can provide for us. But a massive message is that you can't do it without the fans and the buy-in and the relationship, and I truly believe that if we can get that right, it adds another element onto us, because in a sticky 5-minute spell, they can drag you out of that, and vice versa. In a good 5 minutes, they can drive you on for another 5-10 minutes. Yeah. We had lads at the start of the game, the end of the game, struggling fitness-wise, but players, like look at Raf. Right, Raf probably isn't conditioned at the minute at right wing back at League 2 level, at professional level, to do 95 minutes, but they'll drag another 10 minutes out of him because of what they were doing for him. You know what I mean, at the game. So listen, it's been brilliant so far. It's just a start. There's going to be sticky moments in the season. We know that, and it's about character, energy, and desire for us to get out of them and get into them good moments as well. So yeah, it'll be a huge advantage if we can get off to a good home form. And
finally, Gaffer, well, thank you very much for your time. I know that you're a very busy man. Yeah. You used to be popping in the office every few hours, and now if I see you more than once a week, I'm lucky. So I really appreciate your time. It's been a really, really good listen, and no doubt everyone's really enjoyed watching it. My last question sort of summarises the last hour or however long we've been going on for. When that full-time whistle blows after Northampton on the final day, and you look back on a full 12 months as the head coach of this football club, a club that you've said many times in this podcast and before means so much to you, a place that means so much to you, how do you define success? How are you going to look back at that last 12 months and say, we may not have won the league, we may not have got in the playoffs, or however that looks, but that was how I saw that year being successful? Or is it a case of, if the season extends beyond Northampton, that is success for you? How does that last 12 months get perceived by Matt Lawlor?
By me, determinants are loads of different things. I want to do as well as we can in the league. I want us to push as high as we can. We're sitting on game day 2 coming up. Everyone believes that they can get promoted. So why wouldn't we believe the same? I want to do better than last year and the year before. I think we finished 15th and finished with 60/61 points. We need to do better than that. So success is determined by lots of different things when you look back. If we extend it and get in the playoffs, amazing. If we get promoted, unbelievable. If we finish better, then it's been okay. But also there's other things like success of players and selling players, and in the end that's not what excites the fans, obviously, and sometimes doesn't excite me as a football manager, because you lose some of your high potential, high performing players. But that's what this club wants to be, so there's different determinants of what makes success. But making us competitive is anything, making us have that character, desire and energy every single week, and a team that can be looked at by fans as our team, our town's team. That would be massively successful for me, that we all operate in on and off the pitch in a Fleetwood town manner. So they're successful indicators as well. So all of them things can hopefully help us on pitch success. So when I look back at the end of the season, A, I'll be knackered, I know I will be, because I'll have poured everything into it. But B, I hope I'm going to be proud about what we're doing on and off the pitch.
Well, Gaffer, thank you ever so much for your time. Really appreciated. No doubt the fans will have enjoyed this, and if I can reiterate from the supporter base, it's great to have a local lad at the helm of this football club. I know in the past we may have got things right, we may have got things wrong, but I know that you're going to give absolutely everything for this town throughout the next 12 months. So 100%. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Hope you did enjoy it, and stay tuned for future episodes where we will be speaking to Matt's right-hand man, Mark Yates, in a few weeks' time.